Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Ooyukiumi no Kaina, Kaina of the Great Snow Sea, episode 4, if I'm not mistaken. I always have to double check that. It is indeed episode 4 of Ooyukiumi no Kaina. What's gonna happen today? Well, in the last episode we ended up on running from the Valgians towards the people of Atland. I have those names noted down. I won't be forgetting them anymore, unless I forget that I have them noted down, but that would mean something's wrong with me. And I'd rather not. Right. In any case, we did descend from the tree. That was essentially the great majority of the last episode. It was just the descent, Kaina and Liliha bonding a little bit, exploring, maybe not exploring this world a little bit, but talking a little bit about it, right? Liliha telling us a little bit about her story, the story of the sage, what's the deal with that? What's the deal with the glowing spirit thing that appears before them? So we did get a little bit of world building, a little bit of lore, and of course the most significant bit of the whole episode was probably the conflict. Well, the conflict between Atland and Valgia is something that's been going on for quite a while now, something that we knew about for quite a while. But we, and by we I mean Kaina and Liliha themselves, got involved in that conflict. Or rather, Liliha already has been involved in it at least once, right? That's why she floated up to the canopy. But it's Kaina's first time being involved. And since he's one of the protagonists, I guess you could say it's the first time No. Right now, both of the protagonists were involved in the battle, in the war between Atland and Valgia. I think that's what I wanted to convey. Right. Of course, Kaina, that's very interesting, actually. Kaina was brought up in a culture, civilization, where every single human was precious. Right? Why would you hurt someone? It's the guy who cooks us meals. Why would I want to hurt them? It's the guy who goes to hunt. Why would I want to hurt them? Why would anybody want to hurt the granny who makes us clothes? Right? So Kaina has no concept of people killing people. Kind of like a Cain and Abel-ish situation here, right? He's being exposed for the first time to the idea of humans killing each other, of human lives being, while not entirely disposable, at least partially disposable, to the point where one human might think, hey, if I kill that other guy, it will actually be beneficial to me, not a net loss. So that's interesting. We of course met the Atland people, well, not quite. The episode ended with Kaina and Liliha jumping onto a floater and floating away, and I guess we're picking up where we left off, because I see the first frame of this episode is Kaina and Liliha on top of the floater. I'm assuming we will evade the people of Valgia, we will reunite with people of Atland, we will go to Atland, and I don't know what's gonna happen from there. Probably some cultural exchange between Atlandians and Kaina, maybe an audience with Liliha's father, stuff like that. I don't expect anything particularly, like, maybe not important, but particularly action-heavy and engaging and adventure-like to happen in today's episode. I'm assuming, besides like the first part, because we still have to escape Valgians. But from then on, I think we will settle down a little bit. It would also follow the usual pace of excitement, rest, right? We had our excitement descending from the tree, escaping from Valgans, it's time for a little bit of a rest. Anything else that I would need to say? Not really, I don't think so. I think we can just stop dawdling and start watching. How does that sound? Hope it sounds good, because you're gonna see your subs right now, and you're gonna need them to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on, and of course I'm gonna need your support. Support me if you want, monetarily, Patreon, Throne, links in the description below, or not, for free, completely. Share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, we can start watching episode 4 of Ooyukiumi no Kaina in 3, 2, 1, go. Right, that another bit of world building, the weird like snow foil. Everybody's quite surprised that they dived, and of course we met the armored waifu. Crystalline bubbles? Is it just an artistic choice? And yeah, there's a whole world, a whole ecosystem underneath the layer of snow. Is the song in French? Right, they have the rebreathers. Does Liliha not need it? That's a lot of barnacles. Okay, so the snow is a layer on top of a body of water. It was still, before, not entirely clear when they were shots from below. Is it actually clear? Or is it just to show us that the person is drowning? No, it's actually clear. It's actually water or some sort of coolant or glycerin or something. And then a layer of snow on top. Interesting. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. It is a layer of something on top of clear fluid. And is it actually this weird, like, snow foil that allows them to float? Or can you just float in water? But it was mentioned that if you don't have the snow foil, you're gonna drown. And the people we've seen that fell into the water did drown. And here are those crystalline-looking particles that they would breathe out when they were underwater. I don't even know what's worth noting down and what isn't. I'm assuming this one is. Crystalline particles breathed out under water, question mark. Yeah, we know the pendant is something that Liliha found when she met the guide spirit. And it's something from the previous civilization. Most probably. Yeah, and those particles, this entire shot is in the opening. Man, so many questions. So many questions. Conflict at the Snow Sea. Okay, so they were captured. Not killed, thankfully. Is he gonna use his laser cutter to escape? Okay, one down. Yeah, unfortunately they have armor. So you can stab, but slashing isn't really gonna do much. And she's been defeated. You said yourself to stop fighting. Yeah, you have absolutely no fighting ability, unfortunately. Does she know of the canopy people? Yeah, but you won't be able to use her. Exactly. I love the music. Yeah, there aren't that many of them. She's a problem. For sure. She has a katana. Is it like power armor? I hear mechanical sounds when she's swinging the sword. Are her strikes somehow enhanced with a bit of a mechanism? That's a long katana. Okay, combat mode. Yeah, I hear servos whirring. Okay, more Atlanteans. Atlanteans. Okay, shield throw. That, okay, superhero landing. The duel isn't finished yet. It's not over until it's over. Laser cutter. Oh, I thought she's reaching for the laser cutter. Is he gonna reach for the laser cutter? Or his gun? Either Orinoga is gonna die or none of them is going to die. Is it gonna turn into a princess rescue? She'll be taken. But Kaina and Orinoga will go to rescue her. Yeah, I mean, all they wanted was the princess. That's true. I saw that smile. I saw that smile. However brief and tiny, it was a smile. She appreciates a good fight. Hmm. Valgians are definitely much more technologically advanced than Atlanteans. Atlanteans. And perhaps even the canopy people. Okay, Snowhorse, we have an official name for this creature. He took it well. I mean, she did order a retreat. Apparently, Toa is some sort of a company or something common in every world that the author of this manga of the source material, the author who's responsible for it, uh, like places in every world, every series he makes. And also the logo on the laser cutter is the same as the logo of, I think, some other company from, again, common in everything he makes. That's a city, not a country. It's a little bit more developed than I thought it would be, though. I expected it to be more like carved into the wood rather than actual buildings being built. Where'd they get the materials to build those buildings, though? Banners. Okay, so we're meeting the king. Liliha's father, probably. And mother? Probably, yeah. That's why they wanted her alive. Words! Words! And he can read them! Is that gonna be a plot point? Has to be. Has to be. He's colder than I expected. I mean, yeah, he's not entirely wrong. She's the princess of the country, so... A gift of bugs. Okay, I'm guessing they have a particular aroma to them. Glass? There's no sand. How would they make glass? Is it organic? Ah. Guiding spirit. Probably. Whomst. Rambunctious prince. Okay. He's gonna become Kaina's friend, probably. Are they gonna set off together to save Liliha? No, he's just a kid, so probably not. No, not quite a kid. Time to be reciting esotericisms. Okay. Reciting at the bottom, reading at the top, and also reciting. Words and language and text seem to be very significant in this world and to this story. Mobile country. So they aren't built on like a tree stump, but their entire city is moving. It's like a... I know. Like an old aircraft carrier, perhaps? How did they grow this big in the first place if they can't have water themselves? Like right now it makes sense, right? They're stealing water from whoever. But how did they grow to be this big and this powerful? It's war then. Yep. Okay. So they're going to set off the two of them? Perhaps with a soldier guy? Okay, so that will be a chance to free her. How? Yeah, exactly. Oh, walk underwater? I guess it is an idea. Rebreather. Yeah, you don't need to hold your breath. Airberries. Okay, sure. Right now? Okay, so the brother is coming along. You were the one screaming, my dude. At least this time. And here I thought we were gonna have a slow episode. As it turns out, we are getting some adventure after all. An escape route. An old well, probably. Roll the credits? No, not quite. Not quite yet. Right, we need to see what's become of Liliha. And now the credits. Okay, that felt like no time at all has passed. Now all of the underwater shots make a little bit more sense. The underwater section, underwater part of the world is actually going to be very significant, it seems. Here's the prince. Yeah, the prince again. Prince's attendants, I'm assuming. Amelothe. I thought her right arm this entire time was just a bunch of scrap metal cobbled together. That's why there are all those pipes and wires and stuff. But no, it's a power armor. Shit! Okay, that's it. That's the episode. I think I have enough in me to watch another one. I don't know, we'll see. Right now what we will see is the same episode again. Shall we? Yes, we shall, of course. That's always the answer. When is it ever not? Jumping down, and yeah, right, like all those things on her arm. I thought they're just either decoration or leftover, right? Because she pulled a piece of metal plate out of an old car or something and slapped it on her arm. But no, it actually has a purpose. Underwater world. That gives us an interesting separation, kinda. There are three worlds, essentially, in this one. The world of the canopy, the world of the snow sea, and the world underwater. And all of them are separated. I don't know what's the significance of it, but hey. The roots are going deep. And also interesting that those roots, I mean, we can't see that far below, so I can't say whether they actually go to the very bottom or not. But we do have a full confirmation that there is water or some sort of a liquid. As we discussed in the previous episode, I don't think it's water. It can't be water. Because if it was water, then why the fuck are they suffering water shortage? Right? Even if it's salinated water, you can desalinate it. It takes some effort, sure, but you can desalinate water en masse. You don't need, like, osmosis membranes and shit. Just boil it and condense it. That's all. So it can't be water, but what is it then? I don't know. I have no clue. There are creatures, I'm assuming creatures, living underwater. They have eyes. For a while I wasn't sure whether or not they do have eyes, but they do. If they didn't have eyes, I'd be inclined to think they might not be animals, but rather some sort of drones, underwater drones that are taking care of the trees, maybe? Something along those lines. Assuming this is the world, Earth, in the future, humans at some point had to have developed great, amazing skills in bioengineering to create trees like that, assuming they were created by humans. So it would stand to reason that they would be able to create biological or biomechanical underwater drones. Also, the radial symmetry. Radial symmetry is not common among animals, like, not at all. Starfish and other animals of the starfish family are just about the only ones. Sea urchins, I guess sea cucumbers, depend... Oh, they're not real. Yeah, sea cucumbers, sea... those, like, worms that burrow and sprout out. Okay, sure, some water animals do have radial symmetry, but they're mostly like mollusks. There aren't really any, I don't know, any fish, any mammals, any birds that would have radial symmetry. It's not common. Very much not common. And those seem to be more than mollusks. Those seem like fish or mammals, but they do have radial symmetry, which is interesting. And I perhaps spent a little bit too much time talking about radial symmetry, but oh well. Do they have only a pair of eyes or 4 of them? Oh. Barnacles. And okay, Kaina can breathe underwater. Liliha apparently doesn't need to, or doesn't have to. Perhaps she's been underwater already, so she knows how to hold her breath. I'm saying water as a shortcut because I don't know what kind of a liquid it is. And those don't seem like air bubbles. Those seem like tiny little crystals. They aren't round, they have irregular shapes. And they're opalescent, which is another interesting thing. One thing that comes to mind is there is that sort of a liquid whose name I can't remember, but you can make it at home. It's a transparent liquid, but when you pull it out, it forms like little spheres, little solid spheres in your hand, and then you put those spheres back in the liquid, and they dissolve back into liquid. It's great. It looks completely out of this world, and that's kind of what comes to my mind. Liquid that solidifies in contact with CO2 they breathe out, perhaps? I have no fucking clue. Maybe it's just an artistic choice. Pretty pearlescent, opalescent air bubbles, and I'm looking too deep into that. Entirely possible. We need to rescue the princess. Catapults. Keep your hands level, lean back and focus on your legs. Okay, so we know that thanks to the snowfoil, they can float on water, but what the fuck is the snowfoil? I thought it might be like, I don't know, safety, what do you call it? This like inflatable vest you wear on when you're like on a ship or something, and you fall overboard. You pull a string and it inflates, and helps you float on water. I thought it might be something like that. I mean, I've researched densities of substances that are liquid at room temperature in the previous episode. What is the snowfoil, or is it just a MacGuffin? Just have the snowfall and it lets you float, and cool, that's it? Or is it actually something? I don't know. Without just having snowfoil on them, would they just drown? And I don't know. I have no clue. They don't seem to be using the snowfall either. I thought it would be like, you know, something you use. You pull a string and it forms a floaty or something, or it automatically forms a floaty, or it creates a barrier around you, or it solidifies the liquid under your feet, or whatever. But it seems just you have that tiny little packet on you and you can float. You don't have that tiny little packet, you drown. I don't know. I hope we get some answers about that. Alas, the Valgians are here. This mugfucker. I don't know why, but his face looks different than everybody else's. I think that's because everybody else has anime eyes and he has very like Western CG kind of style eyes. I think that's what it is. They aren't particularly bright colored, they aren't particularly big. Opening. So this city is mobile. It's not a tree stump as I thought. It's not like an abandoned tower. It's not an abandoned oil rig. It can actually move. How? And what is it? It's too tall to be an aircraft carrier unless they build up on top of an existing aircraft carrier. Oil rigs don't float. Something from the year 2300 maybe? Probably, possibly, if anything. Something they built themselves? The ships they're using look like fishing trawlers, but are they? Is it something they found, or is it something they built? They have those like wing-looking things. But they aren't catamarans, so I don't know. Valgian technology is fascinating. Here's the scene underwater in its entirety. Yeah, those aren't bubbles. Those look like shards of the canopy, of the membrane of the canopy. Could it be that it's the same substance? Some sort of a liquid that solidifies when in contact with the void of space, and the trees are pumping it up and spreading it through the branches to create the canopy. Could be. Could be. Water and canopy are the same substance. Trees pump it up. Could be. Why does it solidify when they breathe, though? I don't know. I don't know. And what's that snow? So many questions. I love it. And yeah, like when you look into it deeper, those aren't fishing trawlers. Those are like completely unique designs. So they aren't ships they found, and they're made of wood, not iron plates or steel plates. Yeah, it's just wood. It's wood and nails and some, like, rebar or something. Yeah, Liliha can fight. That's good. Also, what's the material? The purple metal Liliha and her people are using. Very different from the metal that Valgians are using. Why are you fighting? You'll die. Well, chances are, for all she knows, she will die if she doesn't fight. So, right? Ah, this smug fucker. Okay, Kaina finally decided to help. That bolt would probably be able to pierce Valgian armor, but Amelote Ex Machina. Just like that. Yeah, it's hella powerful. And she's interested. Bored? But I love the little eyebrow raise. Yeah, she's the waifu. I've already decided she's the waifu of this show. I don't know if she's gonna be irredeemable or not. Probably not. She's probably gonna be redeemable. But she's the waifu, for sure. And she can appreciate cool weapons. Yeah, killing her is probably a bad idea. This guy can fight, but not against Amelote. Some great shots, by the way, during this fight. Let me hear the sound of the servos. Orinoga. Okay, he scored her. That's a long katana. I don't think it's like a normal size for a katana. It seems like a 200 of katanas. Daikatana? Maybe? I don't know. I think daikatanas are even bigger. Or maybe it's a regular size for a katana. What do I know? Okay, let me hear the servos. Combat mode, I love it. I love that flip. She's like, You know what? Yeah, you're enough of a threat for me to enter combat mode. It's great. I love it. I love her character. Yeah, I definitely hear whirring of electric motors. The thing... There's so many fascinating things in this series. If the orbital trees weren't fascinating, if the snow sea wasn't fascinating, Valgian technology is fascinating. How come nobody else has anything like it? They have their seahorses, and they have their leather, and they have their wood, and they have their acorn guns. And here come Valgians with motherfucking power armor. How? Right? It's not me being I don't know, being irritated by not understanding it, but by them just not showing us any answers. But I genuinely want to know. I want the backstory of Valgia. Maybe we're gonna see it. using the fact that Liliha is in captivity, maybe they're gonna talk a little. Maybe she's gonna have a little bit of a discussion with Amalothe. That'd be cool. And she's gonna learn some news. Yeah, you're not winning against power armor, I'm afraid. At least right power armor hand. Although, in her entirety, she is this world equivalent of a tank. Like, legit. She's fully armored. I'm assuming it's riveted steel. Or some sort of metal. So you probably can't pierce that. And her right arm is enhanced with some servos and whatnot. So she also has the firepower to match. She's a tank. And not in like an MMO understanding of someone who can take a lot of damage, but their damage output is kind of lackluster. No, she's a tank. She can defend and she can fight. She can do both. Another interesting thing about Valgia. They have access to technology that gives her power armor, but that access to technology isn't common enough for everybody to have something like that. Right? Regular Valgian grunts just have a piece of a jaw of some animal, probably, or some bone or something for a weapon. They don't even have metal weapons. Here is Amalothe, who has power armor, and there are the grunts who use chitin helmets and bone clubs. Need to make a run for it. You should have jumped together. Yeah, you should have been a little faster, Liliha, I'm afraid. You're good. It's a shame. She can appreciate a fight. Another trait I really like in her. She's not just a murderous villain. She's like, hey, I haven't fought someone who can fight this good in a good while. It's a shame you aren't Valgian. It's a shame we're fighting right now. I would like to spar with you. I would like to fight side by side with you. Sorry. You're this good at fighting, and we're enemies. That's a shame. I didn't want us to be enemies, but such are the circumstances. And yeah, just like that, he's been disarmed. Retreat. Should we turn back to capture them? No. We need to report to take the princess. So she's another important bit. She's not like at the top of their society. She doesn't have the title of a general, but it's really a ruler. No, she's a general. There are people above her. Probably like admirals and the king or whatever their government structure is. I love the mechanical design of her kit, of her right arm. What's powering it? Right, that's another question. And I think it might have been like right arm of a power armor, salvaged from a power armor, and the left side and the rest is the medieval armor, but they stapled power armor onto it, or at least the one bit they managed to salvage. Because it seems like the power armor bit already has a pauldron, right? Like here, there already is a pauldron, but it's covered with that like overlaying pauldron of a plate, of a full plate armor. And also in an age where power armor exists, why would you just have a medieval suit of armor with just the right arm being powered? Right? So it's something they made themselves, at least partially. I see that smile. I see that smile. And then the smile, the goddamn smile. Fucking saved. Kaina has been rescued. Liliha has not. Snow Horse, I'm glad we have a proper name for it. Sending off the dead with their purple metal weapons. That purple metal has to be significant somehow, and they have some under armor made with scales of some animal, probably. Then there's this scene. Yeah, it's Jarges. Liliha gave it to me. Yeah, she did. And yeah, Liliha was indeed the only one. Interesting that he didn't take it from Kaina. I fully expected him to just rip it out, like, give it to me. You don't deserve Jarges dagger. It belongs to Jarges' family, or, you know, something like that. From the shots we had at this city of Atland, I thought it's mostly just carved in the tree. But it turns out there are actual buildings, and a lot of them, and quite big ones. What did they use to build them, though? That's what I'm interested in. It looks like bricks. But how would you have bricks when all you have is wood? Wooden bricks? I don't know. And it doesn't seem like particularly much has been carved into the tree itself either. So did the building material come from outside of the tree? Or maybe there is some carved up spaces inside of it, and the material they carved out they used to build buildings on the outside? I don't know. I'm perhaps thinking a little too deep about it, and those are just things that we aren't supposed to be thinking about, right? Usually when you're watching a fantasy show or anime or cartoon or something, or reading a fantasy book, you don't think about what material did they use to make the roofs in this country. If I recall correctly, they're in the plains, so they shouldn't have access to copper, right? You don't think about things like that. Then again, the environment in this world does warrant that kind of a thinking, because they are living on the base of a tree. Like, right? You can't procure clay, you can't procure stone. You have wood and barnacles. So everything has to be made out of wood and barnacles. And some purple growth. I love how completely awkward Kaina is. Huh? I. Is it? Those banners are kind of ominous. I wonder if we're seeing some sort of a reversal. I've been thinking about it even before, right? Valgians know the true nature of the trees, and the trees are evil, so the Valgians are destroying the trees, or, you know, something like that. And those like ominous banners also kind of make me think that maybe Atland aren't entirely the good guys. I don't know, just a random thought, because I don't think they are the villains. Riri has fallen into Valgian's hands, and the king is completely nonplussed about it. He doesn't give a fuck. And yeah, those are symbols. Those look like Japanese characters turned 45 degrees. I don't know. If you can read those, do let me know what they say. But it's also interesting that characters from the time before would be on a wall in a city from the time right now, right? The metal plates, the signs they collect up in the canopy make sense. They are relics, artifacts of a bygone era. They find them randomly and treat them as sacred plates or whatever. This, it's just somewhere. Did they recover that wall from somewhere? Did someone with the knowledge of the language paint that on the wall? But it's also not painted in a decorative manner, right? It doesn't fit the mosaic. It's not like in each section, like one character, one character, one character, one character, one character, right? It doesn't match the pattern. It seems to have been painted on top of the mosaic. The mosaic has been there first, or a banner, or whatever it is, and then someone painted the words on top of it. No, okay, it's not a mosaic. It's some sort of a banner. Okay, that explains things. They probably found it, figured it's pretty, and hung it on the wall. Maybe it's been passed out in the family for generations or something. And it remembers the time before. Maybe, that's entirely possible. I was really hoping and expected Kaina to read those words out loud, but alas. Sage was merely a fairy tale after all. It seems that Liliha only made things worse. He's extremely cold towards his own daughter. I wonder if he's gonna have a little bit of a villain-ish, at least, streak. From what we saw of him, he seemed like a decent guy. I mean, we saw him in the opening, and from what Riri had talked about him, he also seemed like a decent guy. But I guess being a king comes first, being a father comes second. And he does speak sense. I cannot risk an entire country to save one girl. He's correct. On the other hand, what hope do you have of winning against the Valga? I say none. And just casually carrying over to, oh, you have my gratitude, by the by. A gift of bugs. I hope we can be friends, Liliha's dad. Yeah, a lot of it is made of wood. What material are the walls made of? That looks like stone. That looks like stone and mortar. Stone bricks and mortar. Where would they get stone from, though? Water reservoir. I wanted a better shot at his room. I think we got one somewhere along the way. Some pots, some pipe, it seems, going up into the ceiling. Paved looking roads. Yeah, that's the shot I wanted. The columns look like wood because they're splintering at the bottom. Windows look glass. Yeah, the columns are wood, so I'm assuming the rest of the building is also wood. Perhaps bent somehow, perhaps it's the bark of the tree. I don't know. Here comes the prince. Liliha's brother. Now's not the time to be reciting esotericisms. Reciting esotericisms. Esoteric, hidden, secret knowledge, right? Esoteric knowledge. So, magic, rituals, predicting the future, things like that. All of that falls under esoteric things. Ghosts, spirits. Reciting esotericisms seems like it would be some sort of a borderline religious practice. Like they have some secret, sacred texts they have to be reciting, or perhaps spoken knowledge that's been passed through millennia, right? Spoken word. The way people in Canopy cherish the written word, the people at the Snow Sea might cherish the spoken word. Do they even have a writing system is what I want to know. We did see many symbols, but mostly as a decoration. We didn't see any words in Atland. From what little we've seen of it. No, like a sign that says blacksmith or anything like that. There aren't any documents in this room, no map. Nothing. There aren't any books. No paper. No words. No written word. Speaking esotericisms, no, not speaking, chanting or whatever he said, reciting esotericisms, that sounds to me like a way of preserving knowledge. Snow, sea, spoken word, canopy, written word. Yeah, the only way they can pass knowledge is through repeating it and teaching further generations. Many pre-writing cultures did exactly that. Or cultures that didn't have their writing system or the means to leave things in writing, they would speak through myths, through stories. They would pass on the knowledge of the past generations. I wonder if that is the case. Did they simply lose written word? The way people of the Canopy preserved written word through the sign bearers, the people of the Snow Sea forgot it. Belgium is a big country, so it wouldn't last long. Okay. That's interesting because it means that Valgia is destined to be conquering other nations. Because they conquer Atland, they drink all the water and it's gonna run out. And they would need to move towards another country. What happens when they run out of countries? Are they just simply determined to survive? And maybe in the meantime find a solution to the water shortage? Interesting that their city is mobile. I didn't think it was. And interesting detail that it doesn't stay near spire trees. Why? Why not? That's why they continue invading other countries for water, indeed. And the water's starting to run dry here as well. And yeah, he absolutely will give her up. And there's going to be a negotiation being held. And that's our chance to save Liliha, because we have airberries in a container. How long do those airberries last, is my question. But I like it that it's kind of a, I guess, evolution of the meme. Maybe you're familiar with like a troll face meme, where the troll face places a plant in a container on his back and puts a mask on and walks on the moon, because plants produce oxygen. So, right, in this case, it's berries that produce air. Interesting. Also interesting that we are already rushing for adventure. It's cool, but on one hand, it's cool. On the other, I would have liked a little moment to, like, rest a little and talk a little and maybe do some world building, some exposition. Like, I'm usually not a huge fan of exposition, but I could use some answers, you know? You want to be able to get out alone since they're under a watch. And of course he's under a watch, because who sane would trust someone who claims to be from the canopy, right? This seems to be carved inside of the tree, perhaps one of the veins that carry water and nutrients up. Looks like an abandoned mine shaft, though. And we can go down and to the sea. And Liliha is, of course, she's sad, of course, she's depressed. But she has a nice bed, so hey, that's something, I guess. Are we actually going to save Liliha? Also, people looking up with anger in case of Amelothe, and with concern and a little bit of fear and also anger in case of those people. Who we haven't seen. We haven't seen anybody wearing those clothes yet, so I'm assuming another country is going to be involved. And people looking up. And the giant from the opening. Where is it? Am I gonna find it? Probably not. Yeah, probably not gonna find it now. Yeah, found it. This thing. It seems fucking huge. With a glowing eye. Is that the last boss? I think it might be. And those symbols, those like 45-degree symbols that we saw in the king's chamber. I'm having a really hard time predicting anything. I really am. On one hand, I'm glad, because that means this series can surprise me and will surprise me. On the other, like, throw me a bone. Something, anything. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. What can I say? Great episode, as always. Felt like, again, like no time has passed at all. It was certainly a transition kind of an episode, right? Transition between the previous arc and the next arc. We wrapped up the descent, we wrapped up Liliha's mission, and we are starting the next arc of rescuing Liliha and of the war, perhaps, between Atland and Valgia. So that's going to be interesting. seeing the resolution of that arc, although that will probably not arrive for a good while. I mean, they might be able to save Liliha, they probably will be able to do that, but the conflict between Valgia and Atland isn't so easy to fix, isn't so easy to solve, so we're gonna be involved in that conflict for a good while longer, I feel. It's interesting what they're doing here with words, if I'm correct in my assumptions. That was probably one of the most interesting things in this episode. That there were words written in the King's Chamber, and that there was the mention of reciting esotericisms. That they have a very spoken culture down below. Liliha's mother also told her the story about the sage, not read, mind you. She wasn't reading from a book of fairy tales, she was telling a fairy tale. So chances are they don't have the concept of writing, of a written word down below on the snow sea. Written word is something entirely from the canopy. I wonder if the theme is going to be that they have to come together to fix the world somehow. Kaina can read. He knows he can presumably also write. Liliha has some spoken knowledge. And people of Atland in general have some spoken knowledge. Valgia has the technology. Could it be that knowledge that comes from the Atlandians, plus some instruction manual that Kaina of the Canopy could read, plus the technology of Valgia, could be the key to solving the problems of this world? To fixing it? Maybe. There were theories floating around, and that's also a possibility, that perhaps Kaina himself is the key. That maybe there are some valves somewhere, and one valve says, turn this first, turn this second, turn this third, to unfuck the world. And nobody can read it, nobody knows what those valves are doing, but Kaina can read, so he knows what those valves are doing. He turns one valve, he turns the third one, he turns the second one, and the world becomes unfucked. That's a possibility, but I think the possibility might be that all three factions are needed. Because it would also give us that message of, like, unity, right? When we splinter off into factions, we're weak. We only have partial knowledge, but when we come together, we can fix anything. It would be a nice message to this story. Now the question is, are they going for a message or are they going for a cool adventure? But with the amount of symbolism we see, I think they might be going for a message. And that would be a nice one to have, for sure. And of course, Valgia. Valgia gets more and more intriguing. It was intriguing when I thought that they were living on a stump and that they have somehow access to metal and steel. Metal, steel, iron and stuff. But now it turns out their city is moving. Mind blown. Now it turns out Amelothe has a power armor arm. It's not just scrap metal, it actually functions. Another mind blown. They're avoiding being in the neighborhood of orbital trees. That's also interesting. What's the deal with that, right? Valga intrigues me. And then we have the glimmering particles of they're breathing out that look kind of like the canopy. So much stuff. So many questions, so many theories, so much world building. Ah, Jesus. I love it. I mean, what more can I say? I love it. And I want more, and I need more, and I'm gonna get more really, really soon. I hope. Yeah. There is still time. Okay. Is there anything else I need to say about it? I don't think there is. I think I spoke my piece, but I'm gonna scrub through this episode real quick again, just in case I forgot to mention something. But I don't think I did. The underwater world, already mentioned it briefly. It's gonna be significant because they're gonna use it to save Liliha. But I wonder if there's also gonna be some more significance of it. It does appear in the opening decently prominently. So I wonder if there is some facility underwater, perhaps, they can use to unfuck the world. And Kaina's ability to dive, to have oxygen, might be the key. Sure, that's another thought. Being able to dive and find a sunken key to unfuck the world. Probably. I mean, probably as in it's another probability. I don't know how probable it is exactly. There's so many theories that I have, and I wonder if any of them is going to be actually a goal. I don't know. In any case, I did love this episode. Hope you did too. But tell me about it. Tell me what you thought of it, of my reaction, my theories of this episode, stuff like that. No spoilers, please, I beg of you. I know episode 5 is already out. I'm gonna be watching it soon because it's winter break here, and I'm a teacher, so I have winter break free. So I'm gonna have some time to catch up to Kaina, hopefully. What's next? Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. If you do want to talk spoilers, there's my Discord. Here also in the description you can join it and talk about spoilers in the Kaina Ooyukiumi no Kaina channel. Every single show I'm watching has a special channel there where you can talk about it if you want, not just spoilers but overall. And there are also other channels that you might want to visit. Like already talked about that, subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Ooyukiumi no Kaina, but also Benriya, Saitou-san Isekai ni Iku, also Symphogear. I'm gonna be watching the last season that's come out soon-ish. This week on Saturday or Sunday, I'm gonna be watching the concert. I'm gonna be live streaming it, so do tune in. Perhaps click the bell icon to be notified when that goes live. Madoka Magica, I know I keep repeating it, but I swear I will watch Rebellion one day. And the Magica Record series as well. And other shows that I might start watching soon, or I might not, we'll see. It's... yeah, I don't want to get into details. Why my schedule is as fucked as it is. What's next? Support the channel if you want monetarily. Patreon, throw links in the description below. For $10 a month, get early access to non-seasonal shows like Symphogear, Madoka, and others. And for just $1, you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. And no matter how much money you donate, you also get the knowledge and the good feeling that you're helping me perhaps one day do this thing full-time, which would be the dream. And if you don't want to spend any money though, share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and still helps the channel a lot. It brings more people and the channel can grow. And now, with that, I think, did I miss something that I needed to show? I don't think so. So, with that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do the good stuff and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here is the list of my current Patreons, and you can be one of them if only you so desire. You don't need to dive under the sea to do that or something.